This just coming at us. Trump posting on Truth Social. India is not only buying massive amounts of Russian oil, they're often then, for much of the oil purchased, selling it on the open market for big profits. They don't care how many people in Ukraine are being killed by the Russian war machine. Because of this, I will be substantially raising the tariff paid by India to the United States. Elsewhere, Trump issued a Friday deadline for Putin to make a peace deal with Ukraine, but Putin has signals there's no change in his stance at this point. Retired four-star General Jack Keane joins us today. General, Putin seems to think that the momentum in the war is very much in his favor. Is it?
Yeah, he's of the belief that by lengthening the war, avoiding serious negotiations, in other words, ceasefire, is what President Trump is trying to get from him. Zelensky already agreed to that. He believes that by lengthening it, it'll frustrate the United States and we will pull our support, and the same thing will happen to the Europeans. And it's also the reason why Medvedev, his deputy chairman of his Security Council, was using intimidation and psychological warfare by brandishing the threat of nuclear weapons to undermine the United States' support for the war. None of this is going to work with President Trump. I mean, that's the reality of it. He sees through this. And number one, he has made a decision to increase the military assistance to Ukraine and at the same time take the American taxpayer off the table, so they're not having to fund it. The Europeans are buying our weapons and then giving them to Ukraine. And also, based on, we'll see what comes of Wickoff's talk with Putin in Moscow this week, but it looks like by the weekend, President Trump, unless Putin submits to negotiations that involve a ceasefire, then these sanctions are going to be impacting on him. And look, at Putin's got as you know, and have reported on many times, they have a one commodity economy.
Yep.
It's oil and gas. And if you start shutting down the people who are buying that oil and gas, principally China, India, Venezuela, Brazil, some other countries, that's going to take a toll on Putin's economy. Maybe not immediately, but certainly eventually. And he already has a struggling economy, as you've reported.
Yeah, he does. Trump says that two of our nuclear submarines are being repositioned closer to Russia. What's the strategy behind that? Yeah,
well, all of our nuclear subs, as I said, are nuclear powered. We have 14 submarines that carry nuclear ballistic missiles as part of our strategic triad of ICBMs, bombers, and also submarine-launched ballistic missiles. We don't know what the president is referencing here, and I don't think it's all that important. I think what is important is he doesn't buy into this intimidation and coercion that was so successful with the Biden administration. And as such, the Biden administration bought in to the threat that Putin may eventually use tactical nuclear weapons in Ukraine, and that restricted the use of many of our weapon systems. They delayed it and protracted the war. And the president isn't intimidated by that, and I think this is more about messaging to Putin is, look, your game of psychological warfare and try to intimidate me and motivate me to pull away from supporting Ukraine is not going to work. And I think that's what the intent is of announcing that two nuclear-powered submarines are going to be in the vicinity of the threat area that Russia poses.
Yeah.
It's simply that. You're dealing with a different president here, Putin. I'm not Joe Biden.
I'm going to switch gears for a moment. Hamas, I'm switching it to Hamas. General, the world has seen pictures of an emaciated Israeli hostage digging his own grave in a tunnel in Gaza. That tunnel was built by Hamas. Where is the world's outrage at the barbarity of hostage-taking? By the way, the picture on the left-hand side of the screen is the hostage, but that's a picture of him taken before he was abducted. We don't show pictures of the emaciated hostage digging his own grave. But where is the outrage, General?
Yeah, I mean, you put a finger on something here that needs to be emphasized. The emphasis has been on people who are suffering from not having enough food to eat, obviously, and the indications that some starvation has taken place in Gaza. And who gets the blame for that? I mean, Israel is attempting to provide much assistance to distribute aid to the Gazan people. There is no historical precedent, Stuart, for any country providing food to the enemy population of the force they were fighting. We don't have any evidence of it in history at all. It certainly never took place with the United States dealing with the Germans or the Japanese and helping them survive the war that we were fighting against their military. That's number one. But yet the Israeli government and the Israeli IDF forces are attempting to do just that. And Hamas takes and steals that food, as we know, and there's plenty of evidence, despite people saying there's no evidence to support it. And where is the pressure on Hamas? I mean, they started this on October the 7th. The reason why there are food distribution problems is because there's a war going on, and they started the war. And that's the reality of it. And the rose should be pinned on Hamas.
Yes.
These problems that the Gazan people are suffering are coming at the hands of Hamas. And where are the Arab nations? I mean, the population, the Gazan people, could have been moved out of the war zone, most of them, into Egypt in the Sinai Desert. The Arabs would have paid for it. The UN could have set up, livable trailers, not just tent cities. The Turks took 4 to 5 million Syrians when the war got to be hell on earth inside of Syria. Willingly took those Syrian refugees and took care of them for those numbers of years. Where are the Egyptians or the other Arab states? Where's Jordan taking these refugees and trying to safeguard them? Just criticizing Israel.
Yeah.
It's outrageous what has taken place. We don't pin the rose where it should be pinned.
Hamas is holding the Palestinian people. Hamas is holding the Palestinian people hostage. That's what's going on here as well. General, I'm sorry I'm out of time. Love to talk to you more on this, but come back soon, please. General, thank you much.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you, Stuart.